I will start with an invocation. It will be in the oldest language of the world, Sanskrit. Sanskrit language was evolved in the prehistoric times. We cannot say when it was evolved. And the language was since taught only by word of mouth, from mouth to ear, but never written. The last line of the invocation runs in this manner. May the supreme reality, which is the supreme intelligence, permeating the whole universe and creation, fulfill the genuine noble wishes of all of you. May it fulfill the genuine noble wishes of all of you. This is the last line. I think you will like it, is it not? Huh? You won't like it? Yam Shaiva Samupasate Shivaidi Brahmeti Vedamdino Bauddha Buddha Idi Pramana Padavaha Kartedi Nayyaiga Arhan Nityatha Jaina Shasanarata Karmeti Mimamsaka Soyamvo Vidadhadu Vanchita Phalam Trailokyanato Harihi Soyamvo Vidadhadu Vanchita Phalam Trailokyanato Harihi. Harihi Om. Harihi. I would like to recite 3 times the auspicious monosyllable Om, which is a combination of 3 syllables. Ah, the sound that comes out of the mouth when you keep the lips open, wide open. And the last syllable is the sound that comes when the lips are closed. All the other syllables, all forms of sound, letters, words, sentences, etc., all other things, they come when you hold the mouth in an intermediate position. All the vowels you will find A, E, U, A, O, Au, etc. All of them come when you hold the lips in the intermediate position. Now this monosyllable, a combination of A, U and it really represents the entire gamut of sound, which means knowledge, which evolves in the human brain and is articulated by the vocal system. So far as we are concerned, it is a symbol representing the supreme source of everything. The source of sound is within yourself. A dead body will not be able to produce any sound whatsoever. Only a living body will be able to speak and articulate. Naturally, articulation is a direct result and outcome of the presence that lives in the body, animating and activating it. So this combinational syllable, monosyllable, is very auspicious. I would like all of us to recite it in chorus. The idea is to generate a very sublime vibrational influence which will not merely permeate Brickfield in Malaysia, the whole peninsula of Malaysia. Thereafter, it will also spread into the entire globe and beyond. This kind of a deliberateness in the thinking, in the intention, is possible only for the human mind. Our body completes its growth at the age of 21. We become an adult. Thereafter, if at all anything grows, and certainly there is growth, it can only be of the inner personality, consisting of mind, intelligence and ego. This inner personality, namely the mind and the intelligence, will and should continue to grow till the last breath. Our mind has got the power of thought, the power of intention, the power of wish, the power of will. We alone can exercise it. Those people who are religious will understand God has created this universe out of His own sankalpa or creative thought. This creative thought, though in a miniature measure, has been instilled into the human body and system. I would like you to use this creativeness that is within you and intend that this chorus recitation permeates the whole of the universe, generating a sublime influence which will bring about peace and quietude on the one hand, and very noble and laudable activity and creativeness on the other in all the human lot. Do you agree? Are you ready? Huh? I would like every one of you to participate in this. It's a very great and a rare occasion. All your forefathers will be extremely happy if you do this, and the coming generations would be very grateful to their forefathers, namely yourselves. Interlock your fingers, put them on your lap, sit reasonably erect without straining yourself, close your eyes, and open the mouth as well as the heart, and join me. We shall recite it 3 times. Generally I do it everywhere, wherever I go, and the participants like it. But there is a measure of shyness and reluctance. So don't make me say the chorus sound is not fully representative of the entire assembly. I shall be very unhappy about it. Every one of you should participate. We have assembled here on a spiritual forum. And to generate sound from our mouth is a spiritual process. It's not a material process at all. When we speak, it is spirituality that expresses itself, not materiality. The sound part is energy, no doubt. But the articulate form of this energy comes only because of the intelligence and the sentience that are animating and activating our body. Do I make sense to you? Huh? Really? Okay. Then we shall do it together. Let us start. As usual, many have not participated. At least for your Swamiji's sake, please participate in this. It will do you something good and do the entire world also equally good. Not sufficient, the last. Hari Om Tats Jai Guru. I am encouraged, I compliment all of you. Very good. Did all of you participate? Yes. Really? Yes. Memorable indeed. See, we have assembled here for a spiritual forum, spirituality, key to success and fulfillment. This is the caption the Society for Inner Resources Development formulated for governing the exposure today, the discussion we shall have today. I was wondering, why did they choose the word spiritual forum? I would like you to think about it. This is not an economic forum, a political forum, or a nuclear forum. It is a spiritual forum. The subject, if at all we speak, deal with, or otherwise interact with, will necessarily have to be or exclusively spiritual. Naturally, we should understand what is meant by the term spiritual. It is very important. Because we know a lot about materiality, material, energial, etc. But whenever we use the word spiritual, we lack totally understanding. People are either insufficiently informed or deluded, even distorted and perverted. All the words have come from the human mouth, evolved by the human brain. They alone fill the pages of dictionary. And every word being evolved by the human the human intelligence will have to explain what that word is. When you use the word matter, material, energy and energial, you have to explain what does it mean. Similarly, when you use the word spiritual, we have to explain it. The same applies to God or the self, etc. God is not a word spoken by God. It is spoken by the human mouth. And the human brain will have to explain what do we mean by God as different from dog. We have to explain it. So the word spiritual has to be understood. You know what is meant by matter and material? The entire world is made up of matter and energy. Am I right or not? Huh? We are living upon the earth. The earth is a mass of matter. And upon the earth is water, that is fluid matter. The earth is solid matter. And the earth and the water are surrounded by air, that is gaseous matter. We have solid, fluid and gaseous forms of material existence. Then we have something called energy represented by fire, heat and brilliance. Light is an energy, heat is an energy, magnetism is an energy, electromagnetic waves, quite a number of them are there. All of them are in the form of energy. Then we have something more called SPACE, space. That also comes under visible and understandable material existence, you can say. So my dear souls, you have to be very clear in understanding that. The entire world consists of, as we say, Panchabhutas. 5 different forms which have become. This is the manifestation of something else that we are thinking about. Wait for a moment. So we have solid, fluid, liquid, 3 forms of matter, different forms of energy represented by fire, and the ground in which all these 4 elements are amply present. All these 5 constituents of the universe are matter and material, energy and energial. Do you agree or not? Huh? Why are you so silent? All of you use your mouth, say yes or no. Yes. So I want a collective yes, a representative yes. Not that out of an assembly or 404 people say yes. I am talking only to those 4. I am talking to all the people. So let us be very clear. We understand what is matter and material. Everything that we can see, comprehend or perceive or otherwise interact with in this world comes under the category of matter and energy. So if I say that the entire world is a matter-energy aggregate, will you agree with me? Yes. Now this is not spiritual. The spiritual is something different. Our own body is a mass of matter. In that matter is there, energy is there, heat is there. Heat is there. Sound comes out of the mouth. So sound is an energy. Heat is another energy. And we are assimilating food and growing, putting on our flesh, etc. That is a matter. So matter energy, it is an aggregate. Our body is a matter energy aggregate. The entire world also is a matter energy aggregate. So if our own body, along with the world of these 5 substances, come under matter and energy, then we would like to know what is spiritual, different from these. Whatever is different from the matter energy aggregate called the world and the body, that is called the spiritual. Is there anything like that? If you ask, yes, yes is the answer that this Swamiji has to give. You know that no form of matter is capable of thinking, sensing or feeling. Are you sure? No energy is also known to be intelligent, sensing or understanding. At the same time, we human beings only live in sensing, understanding, feeling, thinking, knowing, memorizing. All these are different functions, not identifiable or associated with matter and energy. Naturally, there must be a source for it. That source, being different from matter and energy, we call it the spirit or the spiritual. Am I clear? Huh? Yes or no? Yes. I will not proceed further unless you say yes. Let us be very clear, what is the spiritual? It is different from matter and energy. You search in the whole world, you will never find the spiritual substance at all. Our doctors are doing a lot of work on our body. They are only doing it in the matter-energy body. They are not doing it with the mind. They cannot touch the mind, feel the mind. Even now, sleep is not at all understood. Because if you have to probe into the sleep, you have to wake him up. When a man is asleep, you cannot go into and find out what he is sleeping. The effects of sleep on the matter-energy body can be found out. But what exactly is the sleep? The sleeping man gets absorbed into his own something within. Where is he absorbed to? Nobody knows. As a result of which, total unconsciousness of the body takes place. That we are able to understand. So let us be very clear. The spiritual is that presence or factor which is different from matter and energy. Am I clear? Is there anything such is a question that I have posed, and the answer is very clear. Now you tell me whether you are spiritual or material. No. No. When a child is born, when you say the child is born and it is alive, is it enough if the body gets born? There are instances of stillbirth. When the child is born, if it is a stillbirth, do you call it a child has been born? Or the child is not available, the livingness is not there? So by the birth of a man, are you referring to the birth of the matter-energy body? Or the birth of the spiritual presence in the body which animates it? Am I talking Greek? What exactly are you saying? When a child is born, if the child is a living child, that livingness is not an attribute of the body. Am I clear? Yes. Huh? There can be stillbirths also. When the body is totally inanimate and functionless, unfunctional, then we say a dead body has been born. That we don't consider to be a birth. So the birth of every one of you marks the spiritual presence and the spiritual functions of an individual. Am I clear or not? Yes. What are these spiritual functions? This we should understand. Spiritual functions are those functions which arise from the spiritual presence within the body which animates and activates it. Our life is constantly experiential. Am I right? Every moment of life you are experiencing. Either you are experiencing the wakefulness or you are experiencing, say, sleep, not when you are sleeping, when you wake up. Sometimes you have dream. You are experiencing either happiness or unhappiness, either doubt or knowledge. Maybe you have an inquiry. Maybe you have a suffering. Anything whatsoever. Throughout wakefulness we are experiential. And experientiality does not disappear in sleep, though it's available to us only in the form of a memory when we wake up to say, I slept comfortably. What? Or my sleep was disturbed. There also there is awareness. So every time we are actually spiritual, not material at all. It is right that we have a material, a gross body. That I agree. But this gross body itself remains functional only when the spiritual presence or the spiritual factor is there. This much is it clear? Huh? So this is a spiritual forum where we are going to discuss about the spiritual presence in the body, the spiritual functions in the body, and harness them to make success and fulfillment in our life. You cannot have fulfillment in your life by bodily and biological manipulations. That is not possible at all. Experience does not belong to the body. The body itself is experienced by something besides the body, inside the body. Do you say, I have a body, or the body says, I have a mind? Who senses your body? Huh? No answer. You say, I have a body. The body doesn't say, I have a mind. So it is the mind that says, I have a body. The mind can make the body felt as well as unfelt. Am I clear? In the wakeful hours you say, I have a body, it is functional, I am doing, I am hearing, I am thinking, I am acting, I am interacting. But the same mind which makes you feel the presence of the body, when it goes to sleep, the total body you are unconscious of. Even the mind, so to say, disappears, intelligence disappears, everything goes away, not to speak of the world. But even then, I slept and I wake up later. Nothing has happened to me. I was present in the wakefulness, I was also present in sleep. To wake up again to say that I slept, I am wakeful. So the body can be felt as well as unfelt. The recognition or cognition of the body is made by the mind, and the mind can also make the body unfelt. So between the body, the matter energy aggregate, and the spiritual presence inside the body, which animates and activates the body, I call it consciousness or sentience. What did I say? Consciousness or sentience. Sentience is an expression all of you understand. That which is inert is insentient. That which is not inert is called the sentient. So consciousness or sentience. Why is it called consciousness? We cannot define consciousness except by its power and property. It is not an objective substance. It is not material. It is not energial. So we cannot identify it externally. At the same time, we can feel it, we can experience it. It is given the name consciousness because, mark my words, it is something that makes one conscious of others as well as oneself. What did I say? Consciousness is that presence by virtue of which you become conscious of other things, conscious of your body, as also conscious of yourself. You are able to say, I am. Go to pitch darkness where you cannot see your body. Lift your hands up so that it doesn't touch your thigh. Still, can you not say, I am? Huh? Yes or no? Yes. Please say in collective manner. Then only I am happy. See? Yes or no? Yes. I cannot see my body. I don't touch my body. Maybe I stand on the floor. I am able to say, I have a body. I have a body. So you are made, suppose you open your eyes and put on the light, you see the other objects around. So the same consciousness which says, I am, it also later on says that I am and so many other things also are. So it makes you conscious of other things, including your body, mind, etc., and also conscious of yourself. You know, sleep is an intransitive verb. When you sleep, nothing else is involved with you. When you are wakeful, your body is with you, objects around are associated with you. But in sleep, you get disconnected from everything and you say, I slept. Who is that slept? Was it the body? No, you are not conscious of the mind. Now that which slept is neither the body, nor the mind, nor the intelligence, nor the ego, but something different from it. At that time, none of these factors was there. Neither the world was there, nor body, nor mind, nor intelligence, nor ego. It was just there. So when I use an intransitive verb, no object is implied there. The subject alone is present there. So it was I who solitarily and in a lonely manner slept. That sleep belongs to me. What slept, that is the real I, the spiritual presence in you. When I say this, will you accept it or will you reject it? I am not to take you to the heights of heaven after death. I am to talk to you something practical and pragmatic, experiential, and which can be proven in a rational, systematic, scientific manner. I slept. I alone is involved there. No other factor, second factor is there. That sleep is my real nature. I don't say that you should constantly sleep. I am not saying that. But understand that there is a spiritual presence within the body. Life is constantly experiential. And this experience can be subjective and also interactional. So in all the interactional life that you have, life is interactional. What is meant by interactional? Interaction between the individual on the one hand and the rest of the world. Though I say life is interactional and experiential, I would like you to go a step further. What is that? All these interactions proceed from you. When you interact with the world, either with persons at home, or people, colleagues in the office, friend, or members of the society, or the objects or the Panchabhutas themselves, understand you are interacting with all of them. So far as you are concerned, your experience and your interactional nature is concerned, the experiential and interactional nature both tell me very clearly whether they proceed from you or another. Huh? My audience takes too much time to understand. See, when I speak to you and you are hearing me, when I see you, that seeing, is it proceeding from me or from another? Who is the interacting subject? Any interaction can only be between the subject and the object. I am interacting with the object world, in which living beings are there, non-living beings are there, so many objects are there. When I interact with them, my interaction originates from me or from another. Thoda boliye na sollungolen. Huh? You haven't thought about it. That is why I have come here. The whole of my interaction, let it be fighting a political election, let it be writing an examination, or conducting a research, getting an award, anything whatsoever. If I interact with the world, the interactions proceed from me. Do you agree or not? Yes. My mind designs the interaction and it activates the body and the senses to follow it in the physical sphere. So all interactions are physical or spiritual. Not all of you say. Can a dead body interact? Only a living body can interact with the rest. That livingness, is it attributable to the body or attributable to something inner presence? So all interactions are proceeding from your own inside. And while the interactions are on, they are also resting and subsisting upon you. And when the interactions produce their result or bring their outcome, this outcome also is befalling on your mind, on your inside. Am I clear or not? Yes. Huh? Yes. I am not satisfied. Please respond to me heartily. And when something is exposed, you cannot take time. Why are you having curtains? It's a branch of knowledge I reveal before you. Take it as a knowledge. I am firmly standing on the platform of intelligence. And I am talking to you, not to your ears and eyes, but I am talking to your intelligence. It's an interaction between the intelligence of the speaker and the intelligence of the listeners. And the intelligence only knows to say yes or no. So you cannot take time. It cannot be. Oh, suppose we agree with Swamiji, this is trouble. See, you cannot say that. I am explaining to you a proposition. If it's clear, you simply say yes, otherwise say no. So interactions are proceeding from the spiritual inside or the bodily outside. Huh? And these interactions, as they are going on, they are resting or subsisting on the same spiritual factor, the mind. When they conclude, all of you have come here. In order to come here, there was a decision in your mind. There is a spiritual forum. They are key to success and fulfillment. That subject is being discussed. I want to be successful. I want to be fulfilled. Therefore, let me go. These are articulations of the body or thought process in the mind. Then the mind activated your body to come here. And you are sitting in my front. After some time, we shall disperse. So the whole event becomes a matter of knowledge, experience and memory for you. The experience, knowledge and memory, do they belong to the body or to the mind, the spiritual presence? So you tell me all interactions are from the spiritual factor, from the spiritual presence and into the spiritual presence. Am I clear? Yes. So is there anything in this world non-spiritual? No. Huh? Experience is spiritual. Interactions and interactional experiences and memory are spiritual. Everything is spiritual. The world is something that you see and experience and interact with. The seeing process, the interacting process, the memory and knowledge that accrues after that, all of them are clearly seated within your body. And that within factor is not something physical or mental, physical or material. It is completely mind-based. This mind is an expression of sentience, expression of consciousness. It is not a part of the body at all. Any part of the body is physical, chemical, material. This knowledge, memory and experience are not at all material. Therefore, it is not a part of the body. It is something entirely different from the body, but associated with the body. That is why we have selected this spiritual forum. It is a forum where we are going to discuss and deliberate upon the spiritual factor and the spiritual presence which we have to be conscious of. Any subject, any kind of a science that deals with this spiritual presence, that becomes spirituality. And the discussion is aimed at key to success and fulfillment. If you want to be successful in your life and fulfilled in your life, you tell me what is success itself and what is meant by fulfillment. Success is an idea, it is a concept. Do you agree? How much time shall I stop? Success is a concept. It is an assessment. It is an evaluation. Fulfillment also is another concept, another assessment. All these concepts and assessments, they come physically from the body or from inside the mind. So what is success? It is a spiritual content, is it not? When you say contentment, success, glory, fulfillment, etc., all these are epithets, words, not relating to the body at all. They relate to the mind. I am not happy. When you say concept is belonging to the conceiving mind. Conceiving mind. And the mind is not physical, it is spiritual. Therefore, a discussion of success and fulfillment will be a discussion of the mind, its skill, its potential, its possibility, its magnitude, its magnificence, its splendor and greatness. You have a body that has grown up to the age of 21 years. Thereafter the body completes its growth. After the body has completed its growth, you live for a few decades at least in this world. For all the rest of the decades, maybe 5 or 6, you tell me which part of your life is going to grow. Body has completed its growth. Then what else will grow? Is it growing? Have you allowed it to grow? It can grow to any level. Sky is the limit of the mind's growth. Understand it. There is no reason why you should not be successful and fulfilled in your life. With nothing, I can still be successful and fulfilled. You know, I am a sannyasin. I am a sannyasin, meaning what? I was employed in my Purvashrama in Calcutta. I wanted to resign my job. So the income was left. I don't need it anymore. And all the relationship I had with my blood people, I was not married, I am not married, that also we left. We left both these only to remain successful, fulfilled, contented, abundantly happy and fulfilled. So you tell me, is a profession necessary to become contented? No. Is a marriage and a number of children necessary to become contented? All of you are householders and you are breeding worry and worry alone. If one of your sons goes to Australia, then also you are worried. If your daughter-in-law is pregnant, you are worried about delivery and confinement. Everything you are getting worried. So understand very clearly, these are properties of the mind, qualities of the mind, attainments of the mind. How to be successful in this world. Make a success of everything that you do and make a success of failure also. Let us not be bothered, obsessed about success and failure. Both of them are ideas, concepts. We have to examine them very seriously. So our discussion is based upon this. It's a spiritual forum and we are discussing the science called spirituality, namely the science dealing with the mind, dealing with the intelligence, dealing with the ego, as a result of which you will be able to interact with this world dexterously, cleverly, successfully, effectively and fulfillingly. Every day of your life should be greater and greater enrichment for you inwardly. You may lose many things outside. You may not be up to the mark anywhere. But internally you should be getting enriched in the hands of the mind. And the mind knows this art. It is capable of doing it very well. This is what I have been talking for the past 57 years. I have been a moving university, traveling in the globe to different parts of the world, only speaking about this wonderful process, the science called spirituality. How to deal with your mind, how to enrich it, how to expand and enlarge it, how to make it constantly successful. Never should you be able to say at any point of time, no, Swamiji, I am a failure. I have been interacting with a number of people. So many people have spoken to me. I listen to the woes and sufferings of a number of people. Many people come to me and talk to me. And I have been very close to many people. Now, till now, I don't have to say anybody has misbehaved, cheated or deceived me. Do you understand what I say? Yes. I don't have an adverse opinion about anybody at all. What do you think of my mind? Is it good or bad? Huh? See, at least about somebody. Some people go on speaking to me, some people write letters, sometimes accusingly also. I give him a very good reply. That as a comment, your comment is welcome and it is supposed to have its effect. But whether the comment is really true of all the other people also, I will wait and see and then act upon what you say. I don't get angry or irritated. So you can have such a wonderful mind which is capable of meeting any adversity, any accusation, any kind of a blame, any kind of a reaction or action from this world. This is the science that I would like to discuss. Would you like it? Yes. For our life, we are taking food. We take water. We are also breathing air. We are basking in sunlight, moonlight, etc. All these are material. All these are not spiritual. Then I am going to ask you, wherein lies spirituality then? The food is matter, water is matter, air is matter, heat is matter, moonlight is matter, energy. Then where is spirituality? Tell me, where lies spirituality then? Nowhere in the body. Nowhere in bodily actions. Spirituality is traceable only when you go inside the body, touch the mind, intelligence and ego. So, if you understand the subject of spirituality from today onwards, this moment onwards, you have to be mind conscious, intelligence conscious. Never lose the grip of your mind. Be conscious of your mind. I may be doing anything, I may be getting anything, I may be rewarded in any manner. But what kind of an impact does it cause to my mind? Am I getting settled or unsettled, lodged or dislodged? Am I oscillating? Am I getting shaken by the day, by the day's events, episodes and experiences? Or am I getting reinforced, stabilized, deepened, more elevated, more enlarged and expansive? The key to make this, it is resting in your mind. Your mind is a precious something. It is a precious treasure. Understand the value and the potential of your mind. We are living with a conventional mind. We only know what? Going to the academic centers, get some education, take an MBA, do some research, get employed either here or elsewhere, have some money, have 2 or 3 houses, have a family, bah, bah, bah. This is what you are doing. All these are material additions and alterations. Where is that spiritual enrichment coming? Where will you look for? So you have to evaluate your life from today onwards only on the basis of your mind. Never lose touch of the mind. Nothing in our world should be a physical or a material development alone. Everything must have a spiritual bearing, and spiritual bearing alone. What is the spiritual factor? This is something that I would like you to understand. We open our eyes and we see. In opening our eyes and seeing the objects, seeing the light, is it a spiritual process or a material process? Please answer me. A dead body cannot open its eyes. A sleeping man, without disturbing him, you gently open the eyelids and show a beautiful flower and take it away. Next morning you ask him, did you see my flower? What will be his answer? So physically the eyelids were open and the flower was also held in visible distance. But the man has not seen. Because he did not involve his mind. The mind was not involved. So you should understand that spiritual presence, spiritual factor. When everything becomes mental, that becomes spiritual. That becomes spiritual. Everything we have to understand. That is why I told you, when a child is born, it's not a physical or a gross or a material development. It is actually the birth and expression of the spiritual part in a human existence. Don't call it a bodily birth. It should be a spiritual birth, if at all. See, this consciousness is something that makes you conscious of, I said. What is that consciousness? We have a number of functions called thought. We think, quite a number of thoughts are arising. A number of emotions also are arising. We have a number of doubts. We make a lot of inquiry. We arrive at knowledge. We keep memory. All these are functions done by us, by our mind. While you are conscious of these functions, can you miss the functioner or the functioning substratum? You see many things. While seeing the many things, can you be ignoring your eyes which see? I see the wall, I see the curtain. My seeing the wall and the curtain, this act, does it belong to the wall and the curtain or does it belong to me? So you are conscious of your sight. How is it that you are unconscious of the seer? Have you any answer to give me? Early in the morning we wake up. Till we go to sleep we are conscious. And consciously we do many functions. We speak, we think, we see, we hear, we eat, we drink. All these are verbs indicating different actions. In all these actions there is an actor. What? What is an action? An action is a phase of expression of the actor. So without the actor there cannot be an action. Without an experiencer there cannot be an experience. Without an interacting subject, an individual, there cannot be an interaction. So we are conscious of so many actions we do. How is it, my dear souls, that you are missing the actor? You stand, you walk, you run, you sit, you lie. All these are actions done by your legs. While you are conscious of all these activities, you are missing legs. Is it possible? In the case of legs and all these functions, both are gross and objective, so you can see. A fan is revolving in high speed. You see the revolution. And the air displaced by it also is felt by you. But you miss the fan. Is it possible? When you are thinking, can you forget the thinker? Huh? How many people are telling me? When you are thinking, is there not a thinker present? Yes. Why are you not conscious of it? How can you miss it? Because the thinking can be only when the thinker is there. The thought can be only as an outcome of thinking. You are conscious of the thoughts. Naturally, you should be conscious of the thinking. Equally so, you should be conscious of the thinker. When it comes to the thinker, why are you missing the essence? Tell me, is it not a deficiency of the human personality? Yes. Tell me yes or no. Yes. This deficiency we want to redress and remove. I want you to become conscious of the thinker in you, conscious of the experiencer in you, conscious of the feeler in you, the memorizer in you, the forgetter in you. That is that spiritual source. Understand it. Consciousness can do multiple functions, multiple creative potential it has. That is why it has formulated our body, it has formulated our senses, What did I say? The spiritual presence in the fetus, in the original bacteria. They started growing in the mother's womb. Any growth is from inside to outside. Is there any growth from outside to inside? Anywhere in the world? Huh? You are giving substances through the mouth. The alimentary canal receives it. There is a digestive process, peristaltic movement. Ultimately, there is absorption, assimilation, and transformation into living hot blood. What you have given is inert food substances. They are converted into living hot blood. You don't understand what I say? Huh? Now, when a child is born, it is ready with all the organs to interact with the world. Some physical growth takes place during 2 decades, that's all. But the power in the fetus, drawing blood cells from the mother, independently and solitarily, it evolved and formulated all the sensory organs. By eating blood cells, drawing upon them. Here the sensitivity was for seeing. Here it was for hearing. Here it was for smelling. Inside it is for tasting, the skin for touching. It's all done by the power called the spiritual presence. So that spiritual presence is capable of forming all the sensory organs to sense and perceive the entire world. So what do you think of that power? Is it something small and mustard-like? Huh? I want an answer right here and now. What do you think of the presence inside you? Consciousness. It is not merely making you conscious of everything. It has formulated the organs. Mother has done nothing about it. The father also has done nothing about it. The fetus grew in the mother's womb all by itself. And when the time came, it wanted to come out. It has come out. And it is ready to perceive and interact with the whole world. Whole world. If we have the power to perceive the world and interact with it, what is there other than the world around? If we have the power to perceive it and interact with it, don't you think that we are multiply powerful? Yes or no? Yes. I think my audience is very much timid and afraid of. You are not prepared to designate yourself properly. See, we have got great and terrible power. Understand it very, very clearly. The presence within the body not merely animates and activates our bodily parts, it also animates inner functions. Inner functions like thinking, feeling, raising emotions, conducting enquiries, arriving at findings, knowledge and memory, all these things it brings about. It also produces wakefulness. Wakefulness. Who wakes up in the morning? You or somebody else? I wake up. When I wake up, I sense the world. When I wake up, so the world is there as an outcome of my wakefulness. Not clear? Stunning. Huh? I wake up. Suppose I sleep. Anybody may try. I may not be able to wake up at all. The waking up is done by myself. And when I wake up, as a result of my eyes, I see so many colors, distances, shapes, etc. in the world. Because of my ears, I hear sounds. And the world can give only this. What? The world may be multiple, infinitely various. So the entire world, infinitely various world, when I perceive the world, it just becomes 5. What? What are they? I see sights, colors, shapes. I sense sounds. I have smell. I have taste. And I have touch. So the world is 5 or many? I want an answer here. So far as your experience, your interaction, both are concerned, is the world consisting of many, or when I touch the world, I receive the world through the senses, the entire world of variety becomes just 5. They are telescoped into 5. Telescoped? Am I right or not? Yes. Shall I proceed further? Yes. Huh? Yes. These 5 are in the level of the senses. In the level of the senses. The sound is up to the eardrum, beyond the eardrum, into the conscious front, in the consciousness inside. It is not 5 at all. When they touch the mind, they become pleasant or unpleasant. They become? They become? So the entire world of variety becomes 5 in my senses. And further down in the sphere of the mind, they become 2. And when I go to sleep, huh? Tell me, where are these gone? Where have they gone? It is I who woke up and saw the world of many. My senses made the entire world 5. My mind made them 2. And my sleep makes them non-existent. So what is the power within you? Are you not ashamed to grieve? This has gone wrong, that has gone wrong. I am afraid of failure. What failure? And what great success? Real success is understanding this fact and remaining above board at all times. Never lose yourself to the world. Let the interactions be any. Let the interactional impacts be any. Understand that we have the key. We have the key to transform everything in this world. All kinds of impacts coming from the world, my mind is the master. I will transform failure into success. If necessary, success into failure also. Suppose you eat sumptuously, everybody likes. So you go on eating sumptuously, then what will happen? You will grow additional and additional weight. So the taste you have to sacrifice and eating you have to reduce in order to keep your weight, is it not? So eating is success or failure? Huh? There we have to accept the failure to remain healthy. Let us be very, very clear about it. There is no escaping this fact. This is a fact. We cannot question it at all. So one point that I am saying, there are so many multiple functions taking place within our body in the sphere of the consciousness, in the level of the mind, intelligence and ego. All these functions we are sensing. how can we miss the functioner? I am asking you. Secondly, the entire world of variety, infinite variety is there. But when we sense them and interact with them, they are simply reduced to 5 sensations. These sensations further, when they go down to the mind, they just become 2 responses in the mind, namely pleasant and unpleasant. And our inner presence has so much of power that it can obliterate the 2 and make you alone free. So the power within you is superior to the world. Do you agree or not? Yes. So far as success and failure are concerned, I would like you to tell me very clearly, what is this success and what is this failure? Is success physical in character, or is success notional in the mind? Success is an idea, it is an assessment. This assessment is made by the mind. So success is one idea, as opposed to that failure is another idea. So any development, event or episode, any kind of an interactional outcome that you are facing, physically they are neither successful nor failure. You interpret it as either success or a failure. This interpretation, according to me, is the most troublesome element. If you want to be successful in life and you want to have a fulfilling life, you have to overcome the ideas of success and failure. You must be able to work with a motive, with a comprehension, as a result of which I will make the right effort, effective effort at any point of time. You know, any action is a means to achieve a certain end. So the objective will determine the nature of action, how you start it, how you do it. So the performance of an action is done by the body and the mind. If this performance has to be effective, right and wholesome, the mind should be freed from the cluster of success and failure and the others. If you are obsessed by success and you are afraid of failure, then your mind is under double tension. Tell me whether it is right or not. Huh? If I am able to relieve my mind from the obsession of success and the fright of failure, then I get a free mind. My mind, which was a mustard, now becomes mountainous, now becomes like a sea, oceanal. And my performance will naturally become far more wholesome, effective and sensitive, very, very sensitive. From such a performance, the best outcome will come. By becoming a votary of success and a hater of failure, you are breeding in your mind 2 negative forces. One is a flare, another is a fear. Are both good or bad? Please give me an announcement right here. That mind which fosters double tension, will it be able to make the best performance, or the mind free from the double tension will be able to do? The basic proposition that I set before you is, the outcome of a performance depends upon the quality and effectiveness of the performance. The performance is an expression of the performer. And mind is the source of all activity. So if the mind is gripped by a double tension, will it be able to perform well? No. So to make the mind perform very well, what should you do? Make the mind free. Free. Free of what? Free of an obsession for success and a fright or a fear about failure. Then the right outcome will come. Any idea of success as opposed to failure, consequently, a desire or a greed for success and a fear of failure will only spoil the game. Am I clear or not? Yes. You know Arjuna from Mahabharata. He was a fighter, the best fighter, who came to the battlefield of Kurukshetra after 13 years of preparation. And when he came to the battlefield, he started seeing everything wrong. The whole body started shivering, trembling. The mouth went dry. His bow slipped from his hand. Unable to stand, he sat, leaving his bow and arrow. And Krishna started speaking to him. Nothing else could be done. Arjuna was there on the chariot, Krishna also as a charioteer was there. All that they could do is talk and hear, talk and hear. Then Krishna started speaking to him. And finally Krishna said, I want you to fight neither for success nor because of a fear of failure. Get rid of both from your mind and be free. 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 Success and failure are only a pair of opposites. What? The entire world consists of many opposites like that. What are they? Happiness and unhappiness, man and woman, day and night, heaven and hell, good and bad, virtue and sin. All are pairs of opposites. The entire world is a collection, a conglomeration of the pairs of opposites. All the objective opposites that you have, create in your mind only two opposites. What are they? Sukha and dukkha, happiness and misery, pleasantness and unpleasantness. So the entire world, which is a collection of pairs of opposites, when you interact with them through the senses and the mind, they just become two. Two. Success makes you feel pleasant. Failure makes you feel unpleasant. Like that, so many other things can also make. So what we want a solution for is actually freeing the mind from the clutches of these pairs of opposites. When you free the mind becomes very bold, confident, wholesome, persevering, and what not. What is there to be afraid of in this world? I will work with one body, one mind. My body is independent of others. My mind is independent of others. I will develop my mind in such a manner that I will be able to assimilate all kinds of inputs. By calling something success and another failure, you don't gain anything at all. We speak of success and failure. The entire world is spending a lot of money and you are glued to the television when cricket and football, all these games are going on. You tell me, can any team be successful without putting the other into failure? Huh? So what is the success? Success owes itself to failure. No? All of you are smiling. Smiling is good. Is it something to be smiled upon or to be enlightened about? Suppose two teams are playing, football teams are playing. The first is a draw, second also is a draw, third also is a draw. Then they say, you go on kicking the penalty unless one loses. See, nobody can win until the other loses. So this success is actually depending upon the failure. Suppose there is a very good team. What should be their objective in playing? I will play the best. Suppose the other team plays super best. Then should they not acknowledge their superiority and admit their failure? They will have found something new, some special movements, kicks, etc., butting and all that. So next time they may do better. So there is nothing called failure at all. In game it is all right. So far as our life is concerned, our life should be such that there is no failure in my life. I will always be assimilating from my mind any kind of an outcome that comes to me. So what Krishna told Arjuna is, Arjuna, get rid of, transcend all kinds of dvandvas, get rid of all of them. You be free, he said. Sukha dukkhe same krutva labha labhau jaya jayau tato yuddhaya yujyasva naivam papamavapsyasi. To quote Krishna's words, Sukha dukkhe same krutva. Try to develop an even or an equal attitude towards all the pairs of opposites, not only to success and failure. And all the opposites, when they come to your mind, they only cause sukha and dukkha. So if you are able to evenize both, look at equally both of them, then you have won over the world. So he says, Sukha dukkhe same krutva labha labhau jaya jayau. Are you following me? Huh? In your mind, Arjuna, I don't want you to be a seeker of success and a fearer of failure. On the other hand, transcend both in your mind. Sukha dukkhe. Sukha and dukkha, happiness and misery, labha and alabha, gain and loss, and victory and defeat, your success and failure. All of them should be dissolved in your mind, transcended in your mind, and allow the mind to rise and become expansive. You cannot enhance yourself bodily. It is dangerous. But your mind can expand to cover the entire universe. So let the mind become broader, deeper, loftier, greater, more and more flexible, more and more assimilative, more and more dissolving, transcending every time. Whatever impacts come from your interactions, do not allow them to overpower your mind. On the other hand, let the mind, by virtue of its spiritual learning, spiritual enrichment, spiritual enlightenment, overwhelm all kinds of impacts in this world. Tato yuddhaya yujyasva. Arjuna had not yet begun the war. Discharge of arrows was yet to begin. That was the time he got into a crisis. And Krishna infuses into him the right perception, the right insight, the right evaluation, and the right beautiful transcendental attitude, by virtue of which he said, fight, come what may. And in the whole fight, mind you, 4.5 million warriors were there. Except 10, all were killed. Arjuna's dear and great son was also killed in pathetic situation. So don't think that it was all success. Certainly not. After the war, Yudhishthira said, I have not gained the war. I have lost. I am a sinful person. Because my mother never told me that Karna was my elder brother. So I feel I am very sinful. And Bhishma, the grandfather, lying on the bed of arrows, had to give him a prolonged instruction to assuage his mind, to see that he is stabilized. So the entire secret lies in the spiritual presence called the mind within you. Understand it very clearly. Buddhi yukto jahadiha ubhe sugrada dushkride. Buddhi yukto jahadiha. Now this process of transcendence, this process whereby you outlive the concepts of success and failure and make your mind harmonious, integral or integrated, to remain at home with any kind of an outcome that comes from life, not to speak of success and failure. In other words, to reinforce the mind, to empower the mind, to edify and elevate the mind. What is the tool? The tool is the intelligence. Buddhi yuktaha. Be integrated in your intelligence level. Such a man is no more interested in any seeming success or afraid of any failure. He will live heroically, harmoniously, integrally, with maximum resilience and reconciliation and harmony with anything whatsoever. Come what may, come what may, come what may. You know, India has been trying to send these GSLVs. Out of the 7 attempts they made, 4 they have failed. What? You don't understand what I say? Huh? Out of the 7 attempts they have made, they have failed. They have failed in 4. Now, actually, are the 4 a failure, or are the 4 helping them to understand the whole project? Huh? Understand the whole project and plug all the loopholes and finally succeed. And I think they are going to fire in the month of August the latest one. It seems that man in charge of the whole project said, within 1 year or 2 years, they will take off again. In all forms of research you will find, all research will not be successful and complete. How many decades they have been researching on cancer? They have not been able to come out with a full remedy for cancer. So don't think that this success and failure, they can be the scarecrow for us. Let us work, let us persevere, let us strive, and we will continue to strive. In the political circles, they are much better than all of you householders. This is what I feel. Sometimes, these parliamentarians, in India it's all projected very well. So the treasury benches people, today they will be there. After 1 week they will be in the opposition. And they are quite all right. They will fail this time. They will wait for the next election. And anybody who holds on to politics, he will succeed one day. Even if 5 people are there. In Kerala, our Congress was left with only 8 people. There was a leader who continued. And after some time, that man became the chief minister. Without failure, a politician can never become the prime minister or chief minister. I don't think that it is all an experience. Kasyatyandam sukhamupanatam dukkham egam tadova nijair gacchatyuparijadesha chakrane mikramena. The famous poet Kalidasa has sung very beautifully. Kasyatyandam sukhamupanatam dukkham egam tadova. For whom in this world endless comfort and happiness throughout life has it ever been? Similarly, endless discomfort and unhappiness nobody had. This is not in the nature of the world. The nature of the world is what? Nichair gacchatyuparijadesha chakrane mikramena. The world is moving like a wheel. The spokes which are vertical up, they will become horizontal, again down, come up like that. So success and failure, happiness and unhappiness, good and bad, favor and disfavor, adversity and prosperity, all these are like a moving wheel. Never be afraid of it. If you ask me whether it is necessary or not, it is inevitable. Sukham hi dukkhanyanubhuya shobhate Mahandhakareshviva deepadarshanam. Sukham hi dukkhanyanubhuya shobhate. If you want to enjoy happiness, you must have been unhappy. What? Unless you have the taste of unhappiness, you can never feel happiness. Unless you are hungry, a good meal, will it be tasty for you? Huh? The hunger is the reverse of appeasement. So unless you are hungry, you will not relish a meal at all. Similarly, unless you were unhappy, you will not be able to enjoy the subsequent happiness. It is something like light a lamp at the midday and put it in your lawn. Will it give any illumination? Wait for the night and take in pitch darkness the same small lamp or candle. It will be very beautiful to see. So, sukham hi dukkhanyanubhuya shobhate. Only by experiencing misery and unhappiness, you will find happiness becomes enjoyable. So let us understand both together constitute the harmony, the integration, the fullness and the wholesomeness of the world and life. So let us not be thinking in a very low manner or a poor manner. This is something very, very important I would like you to know. So Arjuna was asked to rise above the thought of success and failure and then carry on. Dexterity is from non-expectant attitude of the mind. What? There is something called expectation. We can also develop the non-expectational attitude. Every time if you work well, that work is what produces the outcome. If you are doing work well, automatically the outcome will be there. Nobody can resist it or separate it. Now in doing the performance best, what is the factor that helps? Expectation and therefore constriction, or non-expectation and therefore consequent freedom? Tell me. The freedom and the expanse of the mind come from non-expectation. That is what Krishna says. Anapekshaha shuchirdakshaha udasino gatavyathaha anapekshaha. Arjuna, free the mind from all kinds of expectation. The war is there before you, fight it. Fight it well, dexterously, come what may. But fight only enemies. Fight only. And whoever stands there, whether it is your relative, your teacher, your friend or otherwise, they have chosen themselves to be enemies. And they are fighting you. So defend yourself and fight back. That should be the only point here. You cannot bring extraneous considerations like they are my relatives, they are my friends, they are adorable people. All these are out of question. You are in the battlefront and fight. Never think about whether you will succeed or they will succeed. Success comes after the performance. To make the performance best, the mind has to be freed from all kinds of constriction. And these constrictions are caused by the pairs of opposites in general by the world. The world itself is a collection or a conglomeration, an aggregate of pairs of opposites, dundvas as we call them. Unless the mind is taught to be at home with all of them and be in harmony, you will not have the flexibility and the power of assimilation to take any impact from this world. So for the fulfillment and the successful conduct of life, the formula that I present before you is finally this. What? Strive wholeheartedly and wholesomely. Do not entertain in the mind any kind of a negative or disturbing thought. Perform well, and the mind is capable of doing it. As a result of performance or otherwise, whatever impact or outcome comes from the world. See, the impact comes from the objective world. But when it touches the mind, is that impact gross and objective, or is it mental and subjective? Am I clear? Is my expression clear? See, whenever you call it successful or acceptable, etc., these are notions from the mind. So an impact comes from the outside world. But when the mind responds to it, that response becomes mental. Our mind has got enough capacity and potential to assimilate all kinds of products which it produces. What did I say? Am I clear or not? Huh? The mind has to dissolve not an external situation, the impact of the external situation in the mind itself. In other words, the mind's response to whatever comes. That response being a mental product, a mental reaction, the vast mind has got enough potential like the sea to absorb and assimilate all kinds of river inflow. The interactions have proceeded from us, these are coming back to us, and our mind is reacting to the interactional impacts. These reactions, mind's own, it can certainly be at home and dissolve them. So assimilate all kinds of impacts from the world, go forward, generate all kinds of output whenever necessary. Generate all kinds of output whenever necessary. If it is enthusiasm, fervor, will, resolve, readiness, courage, heroism. Anything that you can generate. All these are qualities of the mind, excellences of the mind. And the mind is the repository of all these. Unfortunately, we don't pay attention to the mind. Your mind can generate anything that you want. How many thoughts it has produced? Millions and quadrillions of thoughts the mind has produced. Has there been any exhaustion or reduction in the mind stock? Huh? So the mind can produce further. It is inexhaustible. Your body is subject to exhaustion, but the mind is certainly not. The brain may have brain fatigue, but the mind will not have brain fatigue at all. So understand this and go forward. Assimilate all kinds of inputs. When assimilated, everything becomes an enrichment. Like food absorbed by the system becomes blood. So any impact assimilated by the mind becomes enrichment. And with an enriched mind, getting enriched mind, you do more and more of work, more and more of productivity you bring forth. And then go forward in life. Untiringly, confidently, ceaselessly, being a repository of enthusiasm, fervor, resolve, harmony and integration. Is it okay? Huh? So this is a spiritual forum. Now the forum will be occupied by many of you, and I will be listening to you in the form of questions. Then I will interact with you in the form of answers. Now I have spoken and you have heard. It becomes a forum when many occupy there. So many will have to ask your questions. Within the time limit available, we shall try to answer. So it becomes an interaction. Here the subject will be spirituality. The subject will be of the mind, in the mind, for the mind, by the mind. Nothing else. The body is a sensation or a cognition by the mind. The world is a comprehension by the mind. There is no world except as we see it. All the sights and shapes in the world are colored or determined by the eye. All sounds are determined by the ear. If you take away the 5 sensory organs from the whole world, the world will never be felt. Its existence will never be recognized. Shall I stop now? So I will conclude the session. Shall I conclude?
Yes, sir.
With an invocatory verse, and finally we will chant Om once collectively, then depart. We shall assemble here again. Is it okay?
Yes.
Are you patient or impatient? Huh? Are you persevering or not?
Yes.
So don't be lazy and don't be escaping. Come here again with a lot of confidence and participatory attitude. Prabuddham vimuktam vikārādiḥīnam prasannam sada nitya bodhasvarūpam param nischalam nirgunam sarvarūpam bhajeham sadanusmarami pranavumi. Prabuddham vimuktam vikārādiḥīnam prasannam sada nitya bodhasvarūpam param nischalam nirgunam sarvarūpam bhajeham sadanusmarami pranavumi. We shall have a chorus recitation of Om. Take your pose as before for that. All of you should show a greater display now. Harihi Om Tas. I mentally embrace all of you for your having come here and participated in this session, and you will also be participating hereafter. I wish you all well, bless you well. You should have good children and grandchildren in your home who will love the family, have faith in God or at least in themselves, their self, and who will make very noble and laudable contributions to the society, to the nation, as well as the globe. May you all be enriched, elevated, ennobled, and fulfilled. Harihi Om Tas.